Okay, now we have a survey problem. In a survey of 280 people, a travel company asked people about places they plan to visit in the next 5 years. The results were as follows: 48 plan to visit Europe, 58 plan to visit Latin America, 34 plan to visit Asia, 14 plan to visit Europe and Latin America, 12 plan to visit Latin America and Asia, 11 plan to visit Europe and Asia, and 4 plan to visit all three. How many people plan to visit exactly 2 of these places? Okay, so first what I'm going to do is draw a Venn diagram that represents, all these people in the survey, and then I'll be able to answer the question. This first part is going to be the same regardless of what question I asked you. I got to ask like 10 different questions on the survey. So first I got to figure out, how to draw my Venn diagram. How many sets should it contain? Well, I've got Europe, Latin America, and Asia. So I'm going to need to have 3 sets. So one for Europe, one for Latin America, and another one for Asia. So I'm going to label these E for Europe, L for Latin America, and A for Asia. And so now I'm going to go ahead and start filling in my Venn diagram with the cardinality of each set. So how many numbers, how many people are in each region? Usually when you're filling in surveys, there are some that are a little bit different, but you try to look on the inside out. Like I know there's 48 people who visit Europe, but I don't know where they're going to go. There's 4 different regions I can put them in Europe. So I can't really start there and I don't know how to break them up. So try to find the smallest, or most restrained set that you can. So I'm going to go ahead and start here with, I have 4 plan to visit all 3. So 4 plan to visit all 3. So where do all 3 of these sets intersect? 4 people go in there. So now I'm going to start moving outward. So now I know 11 people visit Europe and Asia. So Europe and Asia is this piece right here, and that has a total of 11. I've already got 4 of them counted for, so 11 minus 4, 7 are going to go in this region right here. So now I have a total of 11 in Europe and Asia. 12 plan to visit Latin America and Asia. So Latin America and Asia, this is where these 2 overlap. And I have to have 12 people in there. Again, I've already counted these 4, so 8 more go in here. So that's 12 minus 4 is 8. And now I'll look at these 14. So 14 plan to visit both Europe and Latin America. So Europe and Latin America, this part, so it's inside Latin America, it's inside Europe. So this part right here has a total 14. I've already counted 4 of them, so the other 10 must go right here. Okay. For this particular problem, I could stop right here because I have enough information to answer the question. The question is how many people plan to visit exactly 2 of these places. So I could do that right now. It's going to be these 10 because they visit both Europe and Latin America, but not Asia. These 8 should be included because they visit both Latin America and Asia, but not Europe. And then these 7 because they visit Europe and Asia, but not Latin America. So I'd have 10 plus 8 plus 7, 25 people plan to visit exactly 2 of these places. So like I said, if I'm looking ahead and I just have one question, I could stop right here. I'm going to continue because I think this is just a good problem to work all the way out. Because like I said, I could ask you a lot of different questions on this survey. How many would plan to visit exactly 1? How many plan to visit, only Europe? How many plan to visit none of these? So there's a lot of other questions. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this problem. I'm going to fill in all the regions. Okay, so I'm going to back it up a step. Pretend like I didn't, just do that number. And then let's keep going. So I know that I have 34 people. 34 people who plan to visit Asia. So inside Asia, the whole circle has to total 34. So what's going to go in here is going to be 34 minus what I already have. So the 7 plus the 4 plus the 8. So I've already got 19 accounted for. So 34 minus 19, I got 15 in here. 58 plan to visit Latin America. So again, inside here has to total 58. So if I do 58 minus the 10, the 4, and the 8, I get 36. So 36 goes in here. And now same thing for Europe. Those who plan to visit Europe was 48. So if I take 48 minus the 10, the 4, and the 7, and I end up with 27. Okay, so now I've filled in most of it. I haven't filled in everything. There's still one more region to fill in. How many people go out here? So this would be the number of people who do not plan to visit any of these 3 countries. Okay, so we have a total of 280 people surveyed. So 280 minus all of those I've already accounted for. So 27 plus 10 plus 36 plus 7 plus 4 plus 8 plus 15. So 280 minus 107, and so 173. So 173 plan to visit none of these. Okay, so now that I've got the completed Venn diagram, like I said, there's a lot more questions I can ask you. You know, one example is, you know, how many plan to visit none of these countries? That would be 173. How many plan to visit only Latin America? So only Latin America would be these 36. They want to visit Latin America, but not Europe and not Asia. You know, so like I said, there's a wider range of questions we can ask now. So please let me know if you have any questions. And actually, let me go back up to our solution. The original question was, how many plan to visit exactly 2 of these places? And so like I said, we had these 10, 7, and 8. These wanted to visit Latin America and Europe. This was Europe and Asia. And then these 8 were for Latin America and Asia. All right, I hope this helps. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know.